Well, oil is finally down, but gas is still high, and that makes no sense to most people. You hear the news, you see the chart, maybe even see crude fall for days in a row. Then you pull into a gas station and the sign barely moved, or it moved a little, but not enough to feel real. So naturally you ask the obvious question: if oil is cheaper, why does gas still feel expensive? That question is exactly why this topic works, because the answer is not just gas follows oil. It does not. Not directly, not instantly, and not in a way that feels fair when you're the one paying at the pump. You see, gasoline prices are built from a whole chain of costs. Crude oil is only one piece of that chain. You also have refining, transportation, storage, wholesale distribution, taxes, and retail operating costs. On top of that, local competition and regional supply conditions can change the price you see from one place to the next. So when oil drops, you're not seeing the entire system change. You're seeing one input move inside a much bigger process. That is why the pump does not instantly follow the crude market. And once you understand that, the whole thing starts to make a lot more sense. A lot of people think gas prices are basically just crude oil with a markup. That is a common assumption, but it leaves out a whole lot of what you're actually paying for. Crude oil is the raw material. Everyone knows that. It has to be refined into gasoline before it can be used in your car. Refining is not free. Refineries need equipment, labor, energy, maintenance, and capital investment. They also have their own market conditions. If a refinery goes offline for maintenance or has an outage, gasoline supply can tighten, even if crude itself is not doing anything dramatic. Then the fuel has to move. That means transportation from refineries to terminals, then from the terminals to stations. Fuel has to be stored. It has to be distributed. Each step adds cost and delay. Then taxes come in. Depending on where you live, taxes can be a meaningful part of the final price. The station itself also has operating expenses, including labor, rent, electricity, insurance, and payment processing fees. So when crude oil drops, it does not erase those other costs. It only changes the part of the final number. That is why the price on the sign can stay high even after the oil has already moved lower. And that is the part that frustrates people, because they expect a simple relationship between the headline and the pump. But the fuel market is not simple. It's layered. So why do prices jump so fast? Here is the part that annoys drivers the most. When oil prices rise, gas prices often rise quickly. Why? Because retailers are not just looking at the fuel they already have. They're looking at the fuel they expect to buy next. That idea is called replacement cost pricing, and it is one of the biggest reasons the market feels one-sided. A gas station may already have fuel in its tank that is bought at an earlier price. But if the next shipment is going to cost more, the station may raise prices now to avoid getting squeezed later. If it waits too long, it could sell fuel too cheaply and then have to replace it at a higher price. From the station's perspective, that is a risk. From your perspective, it looks like the sign jumped before you even had a chance to react. That fast reaction is a major reason gas prices feel so frustrating. It is not just that prices are high, it's that they can change fast when the market goes against you. That pattern is why so many people think the whole system is unfair. Okay, so why do prices fall slowly? Now flip the situation. Oil prices fall. Wholesale gasoline prices fall. Everyone expects the station price to drop too, right? But often, it does not happen right away. Why not? Because the station may still be selling fuel it bought earlier at a higher price. That older inventory matters. A station cannot just pretend the fuel in its tank costs less than it did. It still has to sell that fuel through before the cheaper replacement fuel fully shows up in the cost structure. That creates a lag. So the lower price has to work its way through the supply chain before it reaches the pump. That is why gas can stay high even after crude falls. It's not because the station never noticed. It's because physical fuel moves through a real chain of purchase, storage, and delivery. That chain takes time. And that is where drivers get irritated, because the market can seem quick to pass along bad news, but slow to pass along good news. That feeling is real. It's built in to how the system works. The lag is the entire story. This lag is the part most people miss. Gasoline pricing is not a live feed from the oil market. It's a delayed reflection of it. Crude changes first, then refiners respond. Then wholesale fuel changes. Then stations buy at the new price. Then retail prices adjust. Every step takes time, and every step can soften, delay, or even amplify the effect of the crude move. So when people ask why gas is still expensive after oil has fallen, the answer is often that the lower cost has not fully made it through the chain yet. The station may still be working through fuel bought when prices were higher. The wholesale market may still be adjusting. The local supply situation may still be tight. This is why the price at the pump often feels like it is behind the news. Well, because it is. Not by accident, by structure. That structure is also why the same crude move can feel different depending on when you look. Today it looks like nothing happened. A few days later, the lower costs start showing up. Then eventually, the full effect works through. The market does not snap, it filters. Then why does it feel unfair? And this is where the frustration turns into suspicion. If stations can raise prices quickly when oil rises, why can't they lower them just as quickly when oil falls? Well, that is the obvious follow-up. The answer is that the market is not symmetric in the way most people want it to be. On the way up, retailers worry about replacement cost. On the way down, they still have older, more expensive inventory to sell. So the system has an incentive to move faster when costs are rising than when they are falling. That does not mean every station is doing something shady, but it means the market has a built-in timing and balance. The pain arrives quickly, the relief arrives later. That's enough to make people feel like the game is rigged. And to be fair, that reaction is not crazy. It comes from repeated experience. Drivers see the same pattern over and over again. They see the price jump before they finish a tank. Then they wait for the drop to show up after they have already paid more than they wanted to. That cycle creates distrust. And once people lose trust, they stop thinking of the gas price as just a number. They think of it as a signal that the whole system is stacked against them. Another reason this topic feels confusing is that the pump is local. You can hear the same national oil news and still have different outcomes depending on where you live. That's because local market conditions matter a lot. Competition matters, taxes matter, transportation distance matters, refinery access matters, supply conditions matter. In some areas, stations are competing hard for customers, so prices adjust faster. In other areas, there's less pressure, so the price can stay elevated longer. A station near a major distribution hub may get new fuel faster than one that relies on a longer supply route. A place with more refineries nearby may experience quicker pass-through. A region with tighter supply can see slower decline even when crude softens. That's why two people can look at the same oil chart and have completely different experiences at the pump. One person sees gas already coming down. Another says their station barely moved. Both can be telling the truth. That difference is one of the biggest reasons the issue feels so messy in real life. So, what does refining add? Refining deserves its own spotlight because people underestimate it. Refineries do more than just turn oil into gas. They run complex operations that depend on capacity, maintenance, and product demand. If refinery output is strong, gasoline supply may be more comfortable. If output is reduced by outages, maintenance, or regional disruptions, prices can stay high even if crude is not expensive. Refining margins also matter. That means the spread between crude oil and the value of refined gasoline can widen or shrink. If margins widen, gasoline can remain costly, even in a lower crude environment. If margins narrow, gas prices may ease faster. That's another reason the crude chart alone does not tell the whole story. A lower oil price does not automatically mean cheaper gas at the exact same moment, because the refining side of the market has its own timing and its own pressures. And that is before you even get to distribution and retail. So when people act like crude is the only thing that matters, they're missing a major part of the picture. To be clear, the retail side still counts. Stations are not just passive price boards. They're businesses with expenses. They pay for rent, utilities, labor, insurance, card fees, maintenance, and inventory. All of that is part of the retail price structure. So even if crude drops, the station still has a floor under how low it can go in the short term. Taxes also stay put. Fuel taxes do not fall just because crude does. In some places, taxes are a big chunk of the final price. That means even a meaningful drop in crude may not translate into a dramatic drop at the pump. So when drivers ask why the price is still high, the answer is often not a single cause. It's the sum of all the parts that make up the final number. Crude moves. Refining adjusts. Wholesale prices change. Retails respond. Taxes stay constant, and local conditions shape the timing. That is the actual mechanism. Why does this story matter so much? It's because the topic keeps coming back, because people experience it directly. You don't need to follow the futures market to notice it. You just need to buy gas. You see the sign go up quickly when markets are tight, but it only comes down slowly when the pressure eases. That lived experience is what makes the issue feel personal. And once people feel like a pricing system is unfair, they don't forget it. That's why the gap between oil and gas gets so much attention. It's not just about the price, it's about timing, fairness, and trust. When the pain shows up quickly, people remember. When the relief comes late, well, they notice that too. Over time, that creates the sense that the market works one way when it hurts them, and another way when it could help them. Whether every case is the same or not, the pattern is strong enough that people recognize it immediately. And that's why this story resonates so well. What should you take away from this? What's the real answer? Gasoline prices are influenced by crude oil, but they're not controlled by crude oil alone. Refining, transportation, storage taxes, retail costs, and local competition all matter. They're real things. Stations often move prices up quickly because they're thinking about replacement cost. They often move prices down slowly because they still have higher cost inventory to work through. That's why oil can fall while gas stays high. It's not one simple cause. It's the whole supply chain moving at different speeds. And that is the part people are really reacting to. Not just the price itself, the timing. So in conclusion, the next time you hear that oil is down and gas is still high, the answer is not that the market ignored the news. The answer is that the news has to move through a long chain before it becomes the price at your local station. That chain includes the whole deal, the works, everything involved. And because stations often react faster to rising costs than falling ones, the bad news reaches the pump faster than the good news. That's why the signs always seems to know when to go up first. And that's why the drivers keep asking the same question. Because the pattern is real, the frustration is real, and the delay is built into how the fuel market works. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.